So, how are you doing, sir? Welcome to 3D Movie Interviews, where I interview people that I just find fascinating. I just find these people fascinating. Everyone's got a story, and I love to hear their stories. This guy I'm interviewing today, this guy is the reason I'm on this platform. I mean, like he literally is the one that inspired me, to like, I would not be where I am right now today if it wasn't for this man right here. And I just want to say I'm grateful. Thank you so much. You literally, I like literally owe you a debt that can never be repaid, man, because I'm just want to say all I can say is thank you so much. And
Hey,
please welcome Mike, the Z review.
yeah, hey, well, hey, Jake.
The Z, the Z.
Well,
Did you see that? Sorry, I forgot. That's what used to be called the Z review. Now it's Did you see that?
yeah, I had to change my name for kind of like possible legal reasons in the future, so I thought get away with it for while now I'm a smaller channel, But yeah, well, thanks for having me, man, and thanks for that kind of introduction. Yeah, I mean, me and Jake were speaking about this behind the scenes and stuff, but yeah, man, it's just a pleasure to come across your channel. I can't remember what review it was for now, but it was for a
Cruella.
review. That's the one.
Yeah, because I was
Wow.
like at the time it was a lower. I was like I started the channel because I was inspired to start the channel because it's like that was my resolution. Like I'm gonna start a channel, and then I just love movies and I had no one to talk to about it because I was like 'cause all my friends like don't give a shit about movies because I live in the South and I'm like no one gives a shit about movies. They're like we'll go watch them, but like we don't sit there and think about them after an hour, And so I'm just like yeah. So
Right.
I was like I'm just gonna just talk randomly, and so I did like that, and I did like so much. And then I remember you were like you commented you're like oh man you love Cruella thing just like it was just and then you just like reached out and said look man I was like I really think that if you just do this and this and this I said this would help your channel out a lot I'm just saying and I'm like okay thanks and then you were just like so humble about it and everything and I was just like at first I thought, oh, this guy's trying to scam me. He's probably gonna say, oh, if you sign up for a 30-day course, I can help you out a lot. And I'm just like, no. I was like, I'm like, no. And then, but it turns out, no, you were actually just being genuine. And I was like, that's so great. And I really appreciate that because, like you taught me so much. And I was like, and every time, like I said, whatever it is, like, you're always there to champion. And I just really appreciate that. Anytime
Yeah.
I do something, you're always there to champion. And I said that I just really appreciate that about you, man.
Yeah, well, thanks, man. Yeah, always here if you need anything. And yeah, it was great because I remember at the time, Cruella was a bit divisive along people.
I love
And yeah, it was same here. Yeah, and I don't get it. I think it's one of the best, if not the best, live action Disney's done so far.
I was anti Cruella at first too. Like when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, I'm not gonna go. Like when I first heard they were making a Cruella movie, I'm like, no one wants to watch that. Just remake 101 Dalmatians again. They've done it already. Just do it again with I mean, because I love Emma Stone, but I'm like, no one wants to watch a Cruella movie. And then I saw the trailer, and the trailer got me curious. I was like, that has me curious. I hate when I'm always like that. I am always like that. Some movies I'm just like, no one wants to watch that. Like when I heard they were making X-Men First Class, I was like, I'm anti. I was like, no one wants to watch that. Then I saw the trailer and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then that's not one of my favorite X-Men movies because I'm just like, oh, because I was like, I'm like that. I've always been like, I'm always the first person to be like, no one cares, no one cares. And I'm just like, oh my god, that was amazing.
Right.
That's, but let me ask you this. So, like we started. That's how we started out. But how did you start out? How did like Mike start the Z review? How did the Z review originally start?
Yeah. So, well, let's rewind back to 2017,
Okay.
and I just started a job at a bank. I'm not going to name the bank, but I started a job there, and you know what it is, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Before that, I was never really into YouTube. Like spare time and stuff like that. I never used to watch YouTube. I don't know what the hell I did back then, but yeah, I didn't watch YouTube. So I started this new job, and there was this guy called Curtis, and I'll always thank him, and I'll always remember, and I'll always shout him out when I ever get asked this question. And Curtis was like, "Oh, what do you like doing in your spare time?" So I was like, "Oh, I like going to the cinema, like checking out movies." And he's like, "Oh, well, on YouTube, do you know this guy called Chris Stuckman?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "Who's this dude?" Um, so yeah, so I downloaded YouTube, checked out Chris Stuckman, so he reviewed a couple of movies, and I was like, oh, cool. I was like, this guy's got cool opinion, kind of thing. And yeah, anyway, I checked out some of his reviews, and then I think one day specifically, I'll have to go through his channel and search for the review. I completely disagreed on the movie opinion that he completely had, and I was like, I love this movie, and this guy's trashing this movie. I was like, well, besides kind of YouTube to kind of add into the story, and like personal wise and hobby wise, I'm quite a creative person anyway. So I like writing books, for example. I'm hoping to get 1 or 2 books out this year, actually. And because I'm quite a creative person, I saw his review. I disagreed, and I was like, I like talking about movies, but like yourself, Jake, where in your own time you don't have people to talk to about it and stuff. I thought, well, YouTube. I was like, this could be an outlet where I can go on camera, which does take a lot of balls, let's face it, to put yourself on camera.
You gotta stand by what you say.
Right. I mean, even if you're on camera or you're off camera, you're still on the platform of some degree. And I was like, I'm just going to put my thoughts out there. I was thought, right, if I make one video and people don't like it, delete YouTube channel. No one will know the difference. But yeah, thankfully I kind of just stuck by it, and here I am, 4 and a little bit years later.
Which I was listening to one time Kevin Smith talk about. He was interviewing George R. R. Martin, and George R. R. Martin created Game of Thrones, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
And so he was talking about, and they said he used to write letters about what he thought about something, and he would say, like, he would literally put what he thought about a comic book or something on a cartoon or something he said, I thought about this. And then the worst part was you had to put your address if you wanted to send something in. So you had to stand by what you said because your address is on there. So imagine if you hated something and someone goes to your house and is like, let me tell you what I think of this show. Okay. You're just like, whoa.
Right.
All I said was I like something because of my address. Imagine that if we had our addresses on our channel. Like, oh, that would be terrible.
Right.
We'd be getting swatted every day for saying we liked, I like season 8 of Game of Thrones. Well, I just got swatted because I said that. So thanks. He says, thanks, YouTube. But thankfully, that is not the case.
Right.
So,
right.
But yeah. I've always, I agree. Like, sometimes, I mean, I hate don't you hate though when people like you put comments or something like you loved a movie and then like someone's got to shit on it just for the sake of prosperity. Like I remember one time someone messaged you because you didn't like a movie and they literally and it was someone from the movie too. Right. They literally let you know that they did not like you because
yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. Yeah, I remember. So that was, for anyone interested, it was for a movie called Dolphin Island. Got sent an early screener. Movie's absolutely garbage. I don't recommend it to you at all. It was like literally a year after I'd posted that review. Like I think it was like the main girl from the movie had commented being like, I don't like your face or something like that. I can't remember the comment exactly. And I was like, why am I getting picked on right now? I was like, it's more than me, just because, like, for example, like Anthony A. Perez, for anyone who doesn't know Anthony, awesome guy, and Dave from Interpreting the Stars, who I know you've collabed with, Jake. Like all 3 of us checked out the movie, and all 3 of us disliked that movie. So I was like, so then I went over to their channels to see like if they were getting the hate as well, and it was just me. So I don't know.
Which is it's just crazy. This is like she literally went out of her way to bash you too. She literally, because a year later she probably was like, I don't think she even came across. She probably looked it up and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna find this guy," and she found it and says, "Oh, I'm gonna tell him what I think." I'm like, which sucks nowadays because it's like, dude, you just did a review. I literally did a review for The Glass Onion, and someone told me how I was wrong and all this stuff, and I'm just like, just give me a paragraph of why I'm wrong, and so I'm just like, I don't care. Like I said, it's my opinion, bro. Like you can like it or not like it. I'm like, it's just my opinion.
Right.
Which is weird because it was a created account. Like I literally just to see like, well, let's see how many like I was a little shitty about it too because I was like, I didn't say nothing to him, but I was like, let me show you. I want to see how many followers. It was a parody account. Someone literally created an account like 4 years ago. It says and I'm like, is this the director of the movie? Like that's what made me think. Like, is this Ryan Johnson just like trolling, just being like, well, "Let me tell you something, 3D movie cinema, why you're wrong?" And I'm just like, I almost replied back, "Mr. Johnson, I loved Last Jedi. Can you please leave me alone?" No, but no. We got some chat comments in the chat, so let's see what the boys and the girls have been saying about us, huh?
Cool.
In the front row says, "This is going to be epic. Mike is the best."
Hey, Jimmy.
I said I'm actually gonna collab with her soon on a project. We're gonna do Wakanda Forever.
Oh, nice.
Jacob Martin's in the house. He said, "What's up, Jake and Mike?"
Hey, Jacob.
Trav Tries says, "Sup, boys?"
Hey, Trav.
Sup? He also says, "Checked out the first episode of Stuckman's podcast, and I'm excited to hear more." And then
cool.
Jacob Martin responds to Trav by saying, "Stuckman's podcast is awesome." I have not listened to Stuckman's podcast, by the way. I have not. I honestly, like, I love Stuckman. My favorite parts of his videos are the hilariosities. Those to me have always been my favorite but now he doesn't do it anymore because ever since he got editor, he says, "I'm not going to make fun of other filmmakers when I'm trying to make a film." Because you're basically, which you are painting a target on your back if you do that, because then they're like, "Oh, okay, you made fun of me. Guess what? It's what comes around goes around, buddy." And so it's like, you can't, like, we can make fun of filmmakers because we're not filmmakers, so we're basically the third party on it. But when you're literally in the area, the same area, like, that's like, like, if you call them out, then guess what? They're gonna call you out too. Like, "Oh, okay, well, let me tell you what I think about Shelby Oaks, buddy." You're like, "Oh, God."
Right.
Which he's a good guy though. I like listening to his stuff.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Jake and Mike, how are you guys doing? Who couldn't like? I think he said, "Who likes Mike?" I'm like, "Well, that's kind of shitty to say." I was like, "That's kind of shitty to say." It's like, what he did? I was like, "Who couldn't like Mike?" Okay. I was like,
the girl from Dolphin Islands didn't like me. Someone.
Okay. Because that's so professional to be an actress on the film. I hate people for not liking it.
Right.
By the way, it reminds me of this episode from The Office where, like, the guy, the Ed Helms, who plays Andy on the show, it's the American version, the Steve Carell one, and he goes, like, he uploads like, someone puts, like, the guy in, like, they're referring to him, says the guy in 0418 or something looks hot, and then the guy says the guy in 04820 looks like dog shit. And so, like, and he goes, "I'm not dog shit," and he said he looks gay. He goes, "I'm not gay." He just keeps arguing with the troll. And so I'm just like, you can't argue with trolls because literally they're trolls. That's the whole point. They're literally hiding behind a computer screen. So it's like, really, like, just ignore them, because odds are no one's gonna, like, it's not like they're real. Like, they're just people, like, that are probably just hiding behind a computer screen saying, "I don't like this," like, like, it's like, I don't like Twitter because that's all it is like just people with fake, like, they don't even have a picture, a real profile picture, just a fake profile picture, and instead they should just, they can say crappy things. And it's like, "Oh, this troll." Which that is true though. I do agree, Trav. That is true. Yeah, you should be professional about it, because you're gonna have a lot of disagreements and opinions, and it's not professional to even act that way. Which I troll Mike sometimes, but in all good and fun ways. So well, hey, you know what? I mean, it's different if it's your buddy though. It's different because it's like, your buddy's like haggling, like, "Oh, hey man," like, like, it's like how you're getting roasted by your friends, like, it's all good and fun. But when it's just someone that comes out their way that you don't even know, that just says you're shit, and then that's like, come on,
man. Yeah, I agree.
Jacob Martin said this. The actor who cracked off Mike, I don't think. Well, I mean, she could have an actress. She could actually act, and there's things she could do. She could start an OnlyFans. I mean, there's adult film industry. There are sci-fi channel movies like Lava Lantula or Armageddon Spiders. So I mean, there's things she can do. She's never gonna win an Oscar. Let's just say that.
Well, the funny thing is about this actress is when she was trolling us, I decided to look her up and, remember what her name was, because it was a year since I did the movie review. And I remember actually the latest project I think she worked on was like a spoof Jurassic movie.
Was it Jurassic Island?
I don't know about. I'll quickly pull up IMDb and I'll find out for you.
I'm gonna say Dave reviewed that. You know, it's sad though. Dave said that he says I liked Dave from Interpreting the Stars said
Yes, yeah.
I liked Jurassic Island much better than Jurassic World Dominion. He said, I was like, oh. He said that, and I'm like, damn.
Well, Dominion did kind of suck, though. Let's face it.
I haven't seen it yet. I have not seen that movie. So people are asking, when are you gonna review that? And I'm like, I probably am not gonna review it for a while. I want to rewatch all the other movies again because I've seen the movies separate. And I mean, you want to have that experience. That way, like you could say, like it's like a roller coaster. It's like it goes from high to low, to the high again to low. So you just kind of, it's kind of like, because I really like the first one, and I know some people love the second one. I was like okay to me, but I know some people are like, oh, second was pretty damn good. I was like, it's okay. I love Jurassic World though. I thought Jurassic World was fun. I love Jurassic World.
I agree.
Some people are like, Fallen Kingdom sucked. And they're like, Jurassic World 3 Part 3 sucked. Which I'm like, there is a talking dream sequence with a dinosaur in Jurassic Park 3. Ellen. He's like, I'm just like, imagine the puppeteers, like, you know, like Stan Winston and all them are like, all right, so all you gotta do is make them say, Alan. And they're like, what? And they're like, James Cameron does not ask us on Terminator movies to make the Terminator have a talk and go, come with me if you want to live. Right. We don't make the skeletons talk, okay? We just make them look like this. This is from Jason.
So one thing I'll quickly just reply to this topic, Jake, what you were touching on just there. Firstly, that movie that girl was in is called Jurassic Tale. So I don't know how good that is or not. But with these comments like being mean, and as you said, like Jake, you know, you experienced that recently on Glass Onion. The best thing I do and advice I would give is to read exactly what they've said and point out the flaws in what they've said. So, for example, I actually had a comment last night. I replied to it today on a movie review I did last year called All Eyes, which was an early screener I got. And in my review, well, basically the movie's about, there's like a monster, but the monster doesn't really exist. So spoiler for anyone. But it's not a too great movie.
Spoilers, damn it.
Right.
It's not what I've seen anyway.
So anyway, though, in my review, though, and in the description, so in the review, I say it's a spoiler-free review. And in the description, I also say spoiler-free review. Because it was brand new. It obviously hadn't been released, so I'm not going to spoil it. And the guy was like, oh, man, you could have at least told us there's no monster in here. This is all we want to know. And I literally replied back being like, did you not hear the part I said spoiler-free review? You know, and put the laughing emoji. So for me, that will be like trolling them back. You know, because clearly they're going to be made to look like an idiot, you know?
Dave made me look like an idiot not too long ago, like last year, I think it was, around Halloween time or year before. Because we were reviewing. He asked me if he says, I can't find no one to review this movie with me. It was a movie, I think it was called Case something with Kate Beckinsale. It's an alien movie. Okay. And it stars Kate Beckinsale, and Kate Beckinsale, I think it was Renee Zellweger or something. It was Bradley Cooper. It was like it might have been like, I don't know, I have to look it up again, but it was an alien movie that I watched once, and I got angry. So like, there is no freaking aliens in this movie, damn it. And I'm like, this is an alien movie. And he goes, it was kind of like the aliens are there, but like, it's like an invisible aliens. Like it's like on the window they're watching. It's like metaphoric aliens, not like physical kind of thing. And I'm like, motherfucker, you could have told me that. I was there looking the whole time for aliens. I'm like, where are the fucking aliens? Because it's like 20 minutes left. Where the fuck's the aliens? And I said that in my review, and Dave was laughing at these. He said they're all metaphoric. It's not mental, physical aliens, man. It's not physical. I was like, well, you know what? At least in Signs, okay, Signs might not be the best alien movie, but at least the aliens showed up, okay?
That's funny.
Dave, that's like he thought that was funny.
That's good. That's
like,
good.
but Jacob Martin says she'll end up on asylum movies at this rate.
Jurassic Tale.
That is an asylum movie, probably. By the way, did you see? Tubi is starting to work with Asylum now, and like they had a movie called Titanic 666, and I will shit you not. I was watching Entertainment Tonight, and they were talking about the movie Titanic 666, and they were so proud of it too. Like the cast was like, "We just made Titanic 666. It's the sequel to the James Cameron movie," and I'm like, "Okay, first off, you don't get to be the high boy. That movie is like an 8 or a 9. Your ass is like a 1.6. Okay, that's like." I'm like, I was like, you're trying to compare yourself to one of the biggest movies of all time. You can't. Right. Your movie is literally about a freaking demonic possession on a Titanic ship. Okay. Right. I was like, that's a very bold statement for you to say. But yeah, that's what I always thought. I thought of that. I'm like, that lady, they were so proud. I'm like, it's great that you're proud of your work, but like, I mean, seriously though, like, you just compared yourself to one of the greatest movies of all time. Like, wow. I would have been shocked. I wouldn't have been shocked if she would have said, "We're better than Titanic."
Give it time. Give it time.
I'm like, I wouldn't have said nothing. I would have just been like, "Wow, that is." I was like, I bet you're like, you know what? I says I'm more popular than Jesus too. That would have probably should have said that. I bet you she would have said. She probably would have said that too. You're like. I was you're gonna have a lot of people out here. She would. I guarantee she would not be able to escape harassment.
No.
If she would have said that, she would not been able to escape. She'd been like, "I'm so sorry." Had to be at PSA at the end.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. What? All right. This one's from Jacob Martin. What is your favorite Asylum movie?
Oh man. Okay, so one thing I'll say for Asylum, right, is as bad as the movies are, firstly, if you watch an Asylum movie, you know exactly what you're getting into. Right. Like, for example, like Sharknado, you know exactly what you're getting into when you see the poster alone in the title. So at least Asylum movies know that they're bad when you go into them. I would say my favorite Asylum movie is probably Top Gunner Danger Zone. That came out last year too.
They've remade a Top Gun. They made a parody of Top Gun.
Yeah, so last year I did a review on my channel for a movie called Top Gunner Danger Zone to capitalize on Maverick. That was a funny movie.
Wow. Oh, I would say House of the Dead might be. No, that's not a parody. That's actually from Real Studio. But that feels like a parody, though. That feels like a parody.
Does
House of the Dead. By the way, if you've never ever watched, Stuckman did a review, and I was laughing my ass off at that review. I watched it for myself, and I'm like, this is one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen because it's so literal. The video game adaptation is so literal. Like every time someone dies, it goes like a cut screen. Like it just goes red like in the game. Dude, that's being way too video game metaphoric, man. That's being
yeah, sometimes they can take it overboard with adaptations. Yeah.
Stuckman said, imagine if you're playing a movie, watching a Bond movie, and it's like it's shot and it says, "You are dead." He says that's how stupid this movie is. I think Asylum did make the sequels, House of the Dead.
I don't know if they made the sequel or not. There's a lot of. Sorry,
they made. I'm sorry. I was saying that they made a lot of zombie movies. Asylum's not bad at making zombie films. They're just bad at making every other movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's stupid, really. I mean, I don't get. Sometimes, like, so with the Asylum, like most of the movies that bring out always involve something like with like a spacecraft. And it's like to get the inside, like the cockpit thing looks good because obviously they've got that and then they've got like a green screen around the cockpit, like the behind the scenes. But I'm just like a zombie movie, they probably could do like really well because it's no like big special, like, you know, like ships in the air flying. Is it just people dress them up as zombies, get some practical makeup and fake blood, and there you go.
I mean, really, I mean, zombie. I think that's the only thing. Which I will say, sci-fi in the '90s, the Asylum in the '90s, the Sci-Fi Channel, they used to make great movies in the '90s. Like they made a rats and bats and stuff like that. They literally were literally like that. But now it's like it just seems like they care about quantity more than quality.
Right.
Yeah. Which that is our rant on the Asylum. I hate it when I watch a terrible movie, but everyone tells me the movie was.
I can relate with this. Yeah, I think especially for like A24 movies for myself. Not sure about you, Jake, but when I see an A24 movie, I'm like, that was maybe okay, or maybe I didn't like it. But then people's like, you don't get the full message behind this movie. It means this, and this, and this, and this. And I'm just like, I don't get it though. I'm just like, it wasn't for me,
I will say I've never been a fan of A24 up until last year. Like the first movie I ever saw that I liked of theirs was X.
Okay.
I did not like theirs before because I was like, to me, Midsommar was like, okay. I mean, it's just a rip off of The Wicker Man. Only not the Nicolas Cage one. Nicolas Cage one's fantastic. The Nicolas Cage one's amazing because if you've never watched The Wicker Man, by the way, Stuckman did do a review of it, but like the movies itself, you can't. The context is. If you've never seen Nicolas Cage act, watching Nicolas Cage is a national treasure. No pun intended. But that man is a national treasure because his acting can go anywhere, and it's just funny. But yeah, I watched Midsommar, and I was like, it was okay. I thought it was okay. To me, I didn't get the hype with Hereditary. But I really loved X. And the only reason I loved X, if I would have saw Texas Chainsaw 2023 or 2022, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2020, the one that came out last year on Netflix, if I had not saw that, I probably would not have liked X. But the fact is, I was so pissed off with the movie that I just, like, when I saw the trailer for X, I'm like, this looks like a better version of this movie. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I watched it and I'm like, you know what? I did enjoy X because I was like, X actually was to the point and actually, I just did not like it. I mean, I just did not like it. Everybody was like, what'd you think of Texas Chainsaw? I was going to review it. I just haven't yet. And I'm just like, I hated it. I thought it was one of the worst movies of the year. I mean, it wasn't the worst. It was in the top 3 though. To me, the worst one was Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I hated that. I walked out of the theater on that movie. I walked out of the theater on that movie because I was just like, this movie. Like people ask me, like I had people ask me the other day, why didn't you do a top 5? I was like, well, first off, it just be shitting on all 5 of the worst movie here. And I'm like, to me, people would be mad that I gave Jeepers Creepers the worst review because what about The Monsters? And I'm like, The Monsters is bad, but Rob Zombie advertised what he was giving to you.
Right.
Rob Zombie advertised like, hey, this is going to be shit. So here. And then you knew it. So if you watched it and thinking it was going to be different, that's on you. But with Jeepers Creepers, they said, oh, it's going to be like this. It's going to be better. The original and all that stuff. And they were like, you watch it, you're like, no, this is not better. In fact, this is worse than the original. I'm watching it going. I'm just like, and then the worst part was that pissed me off the most where I'm just laughing. I laughed in the theater. By the way, I was the only person in the theater. I was the only person in the theater. I was in there by myself, so that's why I laughed so loud because I'm like, this is so stupid. Where they were saying, oh, the original Jeepers Creepers movies are movies, and we're the true story. And I'm just like, I was like, oh, I started laughing, going, oh God, that is like the Titanic thing where they're like, we're the better movie. Like, oh, I was like, no, you're not. You're not even close. You're like if I would not have been shocked if the Asylum had come up at the end of that. The Asylum logo had come up and said from us Jeepers Creepers Reborn from the Asylum, the Sci-Fi Channel presents, because I would have been like, that makes a lot of sense. But I hated that, and I was like, but I was like, A24 though, I absolutely love A24. I mean the X. I like X and Pearl. I showed my Aunt Pearl, and she was like, I liked the movie, but I didn't like all the killing. That's the point of the movie. That's the point of the movie.
Right.
She said, I don't like, have you seen X or Pearl?
I've seen Pearl, but not X.
Well, X is, so if you actually, I would say the smart thing to do is to watch Pearl, then watch X, because X is like the sequel to Pearl. You know, it's kind of,
Yes.
they made it weirdly. So that's what my aunt watched it, and she was like, I don't want to watch X now because that just looks like a straight horror. And I'm, well, yeah. I was like, yeah, it is. I was like,
Mm.
what'd you think of Pearl? Be honest, you can be honest with.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So going into Pearl, I had no expectations because I've got hit and miss relationship with A24. I like a few of their projects. A lot of the time, I don't like the movies. So going into it, I'd never saw X, or obviously I didn't know anything about that movie. I still kind of don't, if I'm being honest. So when I went and saw Pearl, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah, I thought for the most part, it was a good story. Mia Goth was great in that movie. And yeah, I'm going to watch X probably soon. And then Maxine comes out this year. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, let's see. We got some more comments. I
Cool.
cannot take that Top Gunner. That's what it is. They're always a play on it. And it's always parody. It's kind of like that way they can't get sued. Just like with the Grinch, it's like the mean one. You know,
Right.
it's just a parody of the Grinch. You know, and it's because that way they can get to protect themselves legally. So that way Tom Cruise and Paramount will sue them. It's a parody. That's why they got to put it as a parody. That's how I get it. Also, he said, I do miss Stuckman hilariosity biz, but I'm happy to have him as a filmmaker. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? Those videos still exist as long as they're not deleted. You know, we can still watch them, enjoy them. He made a lot of them, so it's not like, they're gone forever. I mean, yeah, he's not going to talk about. I was looking forward to him reviewing Troll 2, but that sucks.
Right.
But yeah, and he also says, "LOL." That's like saying I like Star Wars but hate the lightsaber. What we were referring to earlier about them saying like the movie about them saying this is the truth. Yeah, it's true. It is, Jacob. Yes, that's exactly. You are 100% right. That is like saying I like Star Wars but I hate the lightsaber battles.
Right.
That's like the best part of the movie. Like, Mike, you just saw Phantom Menace for the first time, right? So you got to admit that was the best for you. Was that the best part of the movie or what?
Yeah, like the Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul bit. Yeah, absolutely.
Every time I see that battle, I'm like, I'm ready to fight him. Like when I was a kid, I was like, I'm not gonna fight him. He's creepy. But then like now, I'm like, yeah, I'm like to me, every time spoilers dies, and then like when the doors, I'm not trying to spoil it for anyone else that hasn't seen it, but when spoilers, I'm talking about spoilers dies from Maul, and then the guy with the blue saber comes after him. Like to me, that scene when he's just angry and he goes, just the way it choreographed where he's hitting him hard, where he's like, boom, 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 boom. I was like, that to me has me always going, oh my God. I'm like, just like, cause I'm ready. I'm like, let's go get him, man. Let's go get him. Like, I'm just like, I'm just sitting there like, let's go. Like, I'm like, I get hyped. I get really hyped. To me, I just, to me, I've always like, I'll be a Star Wars fan, but yeah, I don't know, just that fight scene as a kid seeing that to me, just like that scene, like that's watching your review. I'm like, and that's what I told Anthony. I said, represent us prequel fans because I love the prequels growing up. Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace was like we had the toys, we had like all the lightsabers and like I still have the button when it came out on DVD and a year later it came out on DVD. They had a button like you could put on your shirt that had like it says own Phantom Menace on DVD for the first time on DVD. Phantom Menace.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I still have that button, and I still got like I got a lot of like merch for it. I got also a Jar Jar Binks shampoo bottle. So Meja so clean now, Meja clean now. Yeah. I was a big Phantom Menace, big Star Wars guy. So yeah, I love Star Wars. Yeah, I was not big on Attack of the Clone like when I first saw it. I appreciate it more now, but when I saw it, I was not big on it because there's so much going on in that movie. But I've always like Revenge of the Sith, though. That was Revenge of the Sith was my actually first. Phantom Menace was my first movie, but Revenge of the Sith, I saw that and I'm like, I love that movie so much. Even as a kid, I didn't understand what happened. But then when you see it, and because I hadn't seen the original trilogy until 2005, because a hurricane had just happened. Hurricane Katrina just happened, and we were out power, and then the power just came back on. We didn't have any cable or nothing, and so my aunt let me borrow the Star Wars trilogy, and I watched A New Hope for the first time, and I'm like, this is great. And then
Mm.
I didn't watch the rest of them, but then my mom got me at a yard sale. She found Return of the Jedi and Empire, and she got me them, and I watched them. I'm like, oh my god, Empire just ends on such a beautiful note, and then Return of the Jedi, I was like, it was good, you know.
Mm.
It was good. I was like, you know,
Yeah.
but and so yeah, Jacob Martin wants to add to this conversation by saying, I loved playing the Lego Star Wars games as a kid. Me too, man. Loved them. Lego Star Wars. I actually just bought. Yeah, I have that same game on PS5. Yeah, I have that same game, like Lego Star Wars PS5. That game was hard to find in the US, by the way. That game was hard to find physically. Like it was just everybody was selling it out. It was so hard. Like I said, I had literally it was I had got it as a gift from my in-laws from Germany because they were literally like at a Walmart, and then they were like, we saw this, someone had it hidden, and then they grabbed it and pulled it from behind, and she went, and she said, we got it for you. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. But I do want to ask you, all right, we'll talk about this real quick. Lego Yoda's death screen.
It's great.
Yeah, I went through the game fast because I love free roaming, and I just love, like, I like how you could free roam in the game. Like, I was like, oh man, it's just flying around with space battles and stuff. That to me, that's what I love doing. I said, I bought the DLC and stuff for the game just so I could play as the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's cool. Did not know that.
I was commenting during the live show, so I couldn't show them because they had spoilers in them. But I struggle talking about the future. Right. It's hard because like you want to say like, oh, the spoilers is gonna happen later, you know, but you can't. You know, it's like
right.
But I want to ask you though, what? So you started out. You said in YouTube. You started out on YouTube, you know, because you know you were stuff inspired you. And then, like, you know, was that like the final push to go start your channel, or what was the final push for you to get on your channel?
Yeah. So I would say I wouldn't necessarily say like Stuckman inspired me. I would certainly say that it was kind of like a reason as to like I disagreed with his opinion, so I was like I want to get my opinion out there, you know. But I guess
to show him off. You wanted to show him off.
Nah, no one cares about me compared to Stuckman, man. No, I guess I kind of define a push, as I said, you know, Jake, is like I'm a creative person, like as it is, and you know, like for example, like when I do my writing books in my spare time, is I want to get my book published this year, even if it's self-published, and you know, if people don't like it, then they don't like it, but it just means that I've got something there, something to work on. And then next time I can do X better than last time, kind of thing. So Jacob Martin, if he's still watching, he's read my book, but I'm republishing it. I'm just changing like a couple of details to it, and he really liked it, to be honest. So definitely give me like big confidence boost. But yeah, going back to your question just very quickly. Yeah, you know, as I said before, you know, I just thought, right, I'd like to start YouTube. I think it could be a cool hobby. And again, I'll turn the camera on. If people don't like me, I can just delete it off the internet. No one would have any clue about it, you know? It'd be erased from existence, so to say. So yeah, I've always been the kind of person like just give it a try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least I can say, well, I tried it, didn't pan out, you know?
That's true. Oh yeah, just give it an old college try, you know? Works out okay. Right. If not, you know, it's not like you're quitting your whole lifespan. Like it's not like, you know what, I'm quitting my job at the bank to be a YouTuber. You know, it's like no, you're just like it's doing it as a hobby, and if it works out, it works out. If not, you know, that's how I think a lot of YouTubers. I don't think any YouTubers like, you know what, I'm quitting my job today. Fuck you, Greg. I'm going to be a YouTuber.
Right.
Know? It's like that is a stupid idea, bro. That's a stupid idea. We're doing it as a hobby. You know? Right. Which I think that is smart though that you did that, you know, because it's like, you know, you're just doing something you love. I mean, like you hear all kind of stories. Like Dead Meat said when he started hitting the kill count, he was just like, you know, he was still working, you know, he was working and everything, and that, you know, that was a hobby. And then eventually after like the Friday the films are what helped the kill count, you know, go higher. everybody says that always has a story. Like Stuckman was a bus driver for special need kids. I think was a bus driver. Was it? He was a bus driver on a bus. He was not the bus driver, but he was on a bus for special need kids, and
Right.
so that was like so he was that guy, and then everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a story, and so which I will say that what was like when did you know that your channel started to blow up?
That's a good question, actually. So I think for me it was all around 2021. I saw it blow up. So at this point, I've been on YouTube for 2 and a little bit years. So yeah, Brian, kind of like yourself, Jake. Like at points in create so. Quick backstory: when I joined in September 2018, I wasn't like consistent on YouTube. I wasn't uploading weekly, anything like that. I I uploaded like my first video. Then I uploaded my second video, which was a movie review. Maybe a couple of weeks later, maybe a month later, I can't quite remember. And it was every now and then I just uploaded the video. Wasn't often at all. So the thing with like YouTube algorithms in a way is you have to upload often, unless you're like Mr. Beast, whenever he drops a video, they're going to push that out.
They punish you if you don't upload.
Yeah, they kind of do. But I mean, in the same time, it can really benefit you if you do, So that's another discussion for another day. But to get back to your question about when I noticed kind of like a boost was, so kind of like mid 2020 or 2019, I would like to say. I got talking to Anthony Perez, who started the YouTube community. So shout out to Anthony if you're watching. And I got talking to him, and obviously I saw he had over 1,000 subscribers. He saw my review for a movie called Blinded by the Light at the time. And eventually, after talking like a little bit, he invited me on for a collab, and that was the first collab I'd ever done, ever, And, a bit like yourself, when you've been in a collab with someone else or on your channel, it's the first time you've done it. It's exciting, but it's nervous at the same time. And yeah, once I got in collab with him, I actually got talking to him like every other day. So, we're developing like an actual friendship. And then I was like, well, man, I was like, my channel's not even on like 250 subs. I was like, where am I going wrong here? Or have you got like any pointers? I could be still doing something better. So he's like, yeah, obviously he's telling me like, oh, look, like focus on your thumbnails, focus about when you're doing like a movie review. If I'm like this side, have the poster on like this side and not like covering you while you're talking kind of thing. So, people's not seeing a poster in your face stuff when you're talking. Just like editing tips and everything like that kind of thing. So he was like, well, look, if you want to be like more recognized on YouTube and more subscribers and grow your channel, it's like you need to get consistent with your content. Even if it's a video a week, you need to get more consistent. So yeah, I just took pretty much all of his advice. And I remember there was a time when I uploaded the video that like really took off for me was about Cobra Kai. And it was about like, I thought like a season 4 spoiler at the time. So I posted the video. I spammed it on Facebook as well. Don't get me wrong, I spammed it on there. But the video got like 3,500 views. And I think from there I started being consistent and my videos were starting to do really well, and then over time just the growth took off. So I would say that was when it really kind of kicked in for me anyway.
Oh really? Seriously, Cobra Kai, yeah, it's big. It kicked off, I think. Was it when it was on YouTube or Netflix? When it moved to Netflix, or was it when it was still on YouTube?
Yeah, Netflix, yeah.
Because I was just wondering, because I know that's like some people are like, we're watching it. I'm like, I could not stand to pay for a YouTube subscription to watch a show. I'm like, I'm not paying for YouTube. Okay, I'm sorry. Like that's what somebody's like, you can get YouTube without free with ads, and I'm like, no, I'll just stick with the ads. I'm not paying for, which I heard that when you get monetized by YouTube, they actually give you the free version without ads, and I'm just like,
okay.
I said that would probably be the only thing I would ever work towards, because I'm like, I hate ads, but I am not going to pay for YouTube.
I don't know if that's true. It could be true though, because thankfully last year I did get monetized. But I know in America I got it for free, YouTube, like the premium.
Yeah.
But here in the UK you have to pay for it regardless, I think.
They just hate Brits, you know that? They just hate Brits. They hate Brits. They're like, we're not giving Brits YouTube for free. I was like, no. I'm like, come on, really?
Right.
So, which we also got some more comments. Blacktastic Media, sup fellas, dropping by. Thanks. Well, thanks, man. We really appreciate that. He's a great YouTuber. Give him a follow. He is a good guy. I really like. Which give all the YouTubers a follow because they're all fantastic. I mean, like Jason the Old Millennial, Jacob Martin, Through the Lens. I mean, it's like Trap Tries and In the Front Row. They're all fantastic. I mean, give them all just a huge. Give them some love. I mean, come on, they all deserve it. I mean, because they're really good. All their channels are fantastic. They're all hilarious too. Jason the Old Millennial said, "I'm sure parents love to hear their kids say that they want to be a professional YouTuber."
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's like saying, "Hey, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna start an OnlyFans," and they're like, "What?" Or that's like here you say, "Hey, guess what, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna be an adult film star," and you're just like, "What?" I mean, to me, that's like people. I think people always see YouTubers. And you hear this every day, like, oh, you want to be a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer? I'm like, like I always say, do whatever you like, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Jason just made me laugh. I'll see it to a sec. But but yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's what it is. It's a profession. I mean, and it's like, what, and guess what? People love that. I mean, do what you love, okay? Not what Unless you want to say, hey, I want to be a serial killer, don't do that. That's the only thing we say. Don't do it. Do what you like, but if you're trying to hurt somebody or want to hurt others, don't do that. That's a no. Right. But anything else, go. As long as I always say, do whatever you want, as long as you don't hurt nobody or hurt yourself.
Right.
That's
right. Exactly.
Yeah, just like if your plan is to be the next Jackass or something, don't do that because that's gonna save you a lot of hospital bills. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know why that seems to be like that's what YouTube. It's sad. That's what YouTube started out as, like just to post videos like Jackass. Like it started out just for people throwing people in shopping carts and pushing them down the street. And I think it was like 2009 or 2010 when the studios were like, "Hey, we could upload this to YouTube."
Right.
We could upload. Nowadays, it's just like it's a professional model. But it used to be this big old thing where people would be like, "Oh, let's throw each other in shopping carts or let's just throw like paintballs in each other's faces." And nowadays they look frowned upon it. YouTube frowns upon it. I'm like, you started out as that. That's literally you would not be here. YouTube would not be here if it wasn't for people like Jackass.
Different times. Times.
Which yeah, it was different times. Which
right.
We got Through the Lens says, "Hey guys."
Hey Josh.
I'm sorry, I was like Jacob. I was reading Jacob's comments. This is what made me laugh earlier. The Brits had it for too long. These damn Brits coming in our country trying to do our American accents. These Brits. Walking Dead. Every time I watch Walking Dead, always a Brit guy trying to do an American accent. Like, no.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. I love British people. I think British are awesome. Like, like to me, what one of my favorite shows I've been watching lately is Doctor Who.
Oh, nice.
You like Doctor Who?
Never seen it.
And you're British. You should be ashamed of yourself, okay?
Right.
That man is a national treasure. That's like saying, which I'm not gonna lie, that's like people asking me, like, you're an American, right? Like, yeah, do you watch NASCAR? I'm like, no. I'm like, what? And I'm like, no, I don't like NASCAR, okay? My father loves it, but I don't like it. I'm like, I don't like it. All it is just people going in circles and cars going, zoom.
Right.
20 minutes later, oh my God, he's going down the street. Zoom. Oh my God, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going in another circle. Zoom. I wonder what's going to happen 3 hours from now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the worst part was, this is the worst part about NASCAR. If it rains, then they have to. Everybody stops their cars, and then they're like, all right. And then they just show them literally sitting in their cars like this for 3 hours. Okay, he's going to get us something to eat now. Okay, now he's sitting in his car. Okay, now he's playing Angry Birds. Okay, now he's sitting by the edge of his car. He's waving at us. I was like, just cut to something else. Put the Simpsons on. Nowadays, I think if it rains, they just call that race. But like, I don't know. I always thought that was so stupid. It's like if it rains, it's just like, well, let's just do it. We got a 3-hour time slot, guys. Just do whatever we want. Like,
right.
But yeah,
right.
That's it.
Stupid.
But we'll also, all right, we'll put some more comments. You guys saw the trailer for Scream 6. I'm bummed Sydney's not coming back. The New York setting is interesting, looks watchable.
Yeah.
Which I have not. There's a new trailer I heard that just dropped an hour or two ago. I have not watched it yet. I'm not going to watch this movie, just to be clear. Because in which I liked I thought the last one was okay. I did not hate it, but I did not like the way they did Neve Campbell dirty. You know, like I thought that was really disgusting. The way they're like, okay, we made a lot of money, but we're not going to bring back the star of the movie because we want to save a buck or two. And I'm like, that to me was disgusting. I was like, oh, well, I have to watch it, but I will not watch it in theaters. I'll wait till it comes out on Blu-ray or 4K, and then I'll probably buy it. Then I'll watch it with Jacob Martin because we've done a Scream collaboration, so I have to do that for Jacob Martin. But I'm not gonna go watch it in theaters because I'm like, no. I was like, screw you guys. You literally screwed over Neve Campbell. Why am I gonna help? I know people are like, well, you're gonna pay for the 4K. I'm like, yeah, but in theaters, if it's in theaters and it doesn't do well, it's the studio's not gonna make another one. Which I'm not saying I hope it does well, but I'm just saying I do hope that does at least affect them. They're saying like a lot of people don't watch it because Neve Campbell. And then the next one they're like, all right, we'll put Neve Campbell in it. Which I've heard like there's mixed reports saying that she might appear in a small role just to, like they probably worked something out behind the scenes. So she might actually be back in a cameo. But like I know I don't know. I'm not gonna watch it in theaters.
Yeah.
Now if somebody tells me on opening weekend, oh, she's in the movie, then I might go next weekend and see it. But if up until then I'm not going to. Like
I saw the trailer.
Is it good?
To be honest, I think it could be one of the best ones because the trailer doesn't look as if it's going to be like meta as it normally is. It looks very serious, which I'm kind of glad they're going in a different route with it.
Scream takes Manhattan.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
But does it looks really good? Like, does it look like? I saw I like the image. I saw like pictures where he has like Ghostface has instead of the clear white mask, it looks like you bought it at Party City. The mask looks disgusting and rapid. I still to this day, like if they really want me to be 100% on board, if I find out like Matthew Lillard is back as Stu, I would 100% then be like, okay, that might change my mind and go see. Even if Neve Campbell wasn't in it, I might say, well, you know what? They finally did the twist that everybody wanted. Stu is back as the killer, but they're not going to. I know they're probably not going to, because that's like the fans' dream is like let Stu come back. But anyway, also Jacob Martin said this about Scream. I hope Gale is not dirty like what happened to Dewey in Scream 5. Well, I mean,
yeah. So I mean, for me, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen it. Anyone who's watching live or after the fact. Over on my channel about a couple of weeks ago now, I did a theory as to why I think Gale should be Ghostface in this new movie. And I think ultimately it's going to come probably to the point where they're going to kill off the legacy characters.
Star Wars.
Yeah, because I mean, like Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega is the new two kind of final people with the twins. So they're not going to have like Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. Like, then you're going to sign them up for the third movie, this trilogy, It makes sense for Gale to be Ghostface in a way because of like what happened with Dewey, and obviously she was called to the town because them kids went to Dewey in the last movie, and then he called them for help. So if they didn't go to Dewey, he would still be alive. So I don't know, but I kind of hope that she kind of is Ghostface personally.
Yeah. We got another comment for Jacob. I mean, Daniel Craig did an awesome Southern accent in Knives
He
Out and
did.
Glass Onion. I mean, I would say British actors. I'm not like shitting. I'm not really sure. I'm just joking. But like British actors are fantastic. Like they do great American accents. Okay, they do great. Like I said, they're better. And also this one, don't listen to the Beatles. Don't watch Jason Bond. James Bond. Jason. Jason Bond is the American version. Jason. Yeah, I'm Jason. Jason Bourne basically is like the American Jason. Doesn't watch Doctor Who. Are you really British, Mike? Mike, you got something you want to say?
I am British, yes. I just don't like the usual British stuff, I guess.
Yeah. All right. I do have 3 questions. Wrapping up, I do have 3 questions for you, man. Okay. One, this is I try to ask them. One, what was your best movie theater experience going in?
Oh, like ever?
Yeah.
That's a tough question. I don't really know if I have like a best one or like a one that I can like really point out and be like, that's like the Mount Rushmore.
Oh,
that's fine. I would say like a really cool experience that I've had was back when Spider-Man 2 came out, the Tobey Maguire one.
2004.
Yeah, I remember going to see that in the cinema with my mum and my brother at the time. And I remember just the movie cinema being packed and everyone was laughing at the jokes and like the serious moments when like Spider-Man's fighting Doc Ock on top of the train and stuff like that. Like just everyone was into like every moment. And even as like a teenage kid, I was like soaked into like what was going on. I was like, Spider-Man, no, like when he faints, when he's holding the train like that, I'm just like, oh so man, good. Like that's just like I've got like say more memorable experiences than best ones, I would say.
The hospital scene always gets me when the tentacles kill everyone, and I always thought that was creepy. I just thought that was great. What is your worst theater experience?
Oh man,
the worst one, the one you almost quit being a YouTuber because of how bad, or you almost quit going to the movies because that's how bad that experience was.
Well, so I had one in 2021. Was probably the experience I can remember the most. So what happened was I went to see a movie called Jungle Cruise, which I'm sure you know that movie.
I gave it a great review. I love The Rock. The Rock is my favorite actor. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is my favorite actor. I'm not trying to be biased. I did give Black Adam a B+, which because you gave it because you love The Rock. I'm like, there are movies I don't like in his. I don't like San Andreas, but like I gave it. But anyway, what about Jungle Cruise?
Yeah. So I remember with Jungle Cruise. So what happened was, say like the movie showing was like 2:00 in the afternoon. I think I got there for maybe like 2:10 because the movies tend to show like 25-30 minute trailers before it gets into the feature. And I got there about 10 past, and I thought, I'm early. At least I'll get to see like some of the trailers and just miss their own trailers, not the movie trailers. And anyway, I got there early, like 2:10, and the movie had already started. It must have been like 5 minutes in, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm late." So obviously, I was trying to quickly just rush down into the aisle, get into my seat, and just watch the movie. So anyway, what happened was that this screen must have had maybe about 10, 11 rows of seats. It wasn't a big screen whatsoever. And I got into the row, and there was 2 people right on the edge, like where the aisle is. So the aisle's here. They were sat like right there. Then there was like a guy by himself who was sat next to them, like this guy with like bald hair. He was sat by them. Then there was 2 chairs like next to him, which were empty. My seat was in one of them 2 chairs. And then next to the 2 empty chairs was 3 teenage girls. So my seat was located next to the teenage girls. So I went to sit down, and the bald guy turned to us and he's like, "Do you not want to sit here, mate? Like next to him?" And I was like, "No." I'm like, "I'm just going to sit in my seat." So anyway, I sat in my seat. And what happened was, I kid you not, right? And what happened was, the teenage girl that was sat next to me was with her 2 friends. Anyway, every other minute, right? So say this. So just as an example basis, right? See if this is her mobile phone. So a mobile phone was obviously black. It wasn't on or anything. Every 1 minute, she would have a phone like this with just a bright light flashing out, right? Almost as if she's like checking the time or something, and then she'd put it down, right? So every minute of this movie, I would just see a blinding light, then it'll go dark, a blinding light, going dark, right? So it happened like a couple of times, and I was about to turn to her and, you know, say something, be like, look, can you put your phone away? I'm just trying to watch the movie. But then also at the meantime, when she was doing this, on the opposite side of me, this bald guy was doing the exact same thing every minute, right? So there were these two people that were in like tandem. And I was like, what the hell's going on? I'm trying to watch the movie, but I've got like bright light here, bright light. You know, I was like, I can't fully concentrate on the movie. And the screening was pretty packed. So it's not as if I could move a row behind or in front so I couldn't see it. Like the row behind me was full. The rows in front of me were full. These empty seats were the kind of only empty ones. So anyway, I was about to turn to this girl and say, like, look, like, can you please just respectfully put your phone away? When I see the bald guy look over like this, and then this girl looking over to him like that, and they just kind of like nodded at each other. So I was like, maybe he was playing the cool dad while his teenage daughter, I'm assuming, was with her friends watching the movie. So I was like, I can't really say anything to her because he's going to turn around and be like, what did you just say, mate? Like, what were you saying to my daughter? You know? So, yeah, so I literally experienced Jungle Cruise with like 2 flashing phones every minute of that movie. That was horrible experience.
Oh, man, that sounds horrible. Man.
Mm-hmm.
So, wrapping up.
Sure.
All right. What he says. All right. What do you have coming up on your channel?
What have I got coming up? All right, cool. So yeah, so tonight at 9 p.m. UK time, which it is currently 8:03 p.m. I'm doing a hangout and chat. Yeah, I'm just doing a hangout and chat where I do go live, just answer any comments, and have like some guests join me. So I got that tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to be reviewing the movie Babylon, which I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be reviewing that one. And then I've got like a couple of screeners, like a Blu-ray 4K hunt. I go onto like a store and go see if I can add some movies to my physical media collection up here. And yeah, so at the moment that's what I've got coming up. And be a lookout on my channel because I am going to be doing some updates soon in regards with hopefully get my first book published on Amazon as well.
All right, that's right. And before I let you go, man, what is some words of advice to live by? Like, what would you give some words to get to YouTubers that are starting up their own channel? What's some words of wisdom you'd give to them?
Yeah. So my best honest advice would be is to give it a go. So, like myself, like Jake here, like Jacob Martin, Jason Old Millennial, Blacktastic, Josh, Jamie, whoever. It takes a lot of confidence to put yourself in front of the camera or, put pictures of the camera while you do audio over those pictures or videos, whatever. But you've got nothing to lose. Worst case is if the video doesn't perform well or maybe not, you didn't like the video, you can delete the video. You can delete a YouTube channel. No one's going to know necessarily. And I think it's all about just give it a go. And I think you'll tend to find that it'll be something where it might become like a hobby for you,
True. That's actually pretty good advice. I mean, words to live by right there. So I appreciate you being on here. I appreciate you on here. I would love to have you on another time whenever you're free. Thank you so much for coming on here. I appreciate it. Love to collab with you in the future. I just want to say again, thank you so much. If it wasn't for you, I would not be really where I am right now. And I just want to say thank you so much. Like, I owe you a debt that can never be repaid. That to me is like, high praise, man.
No, you don't owe me anything, man. And like at the end of the day, it was a pleasure coming across your channel with the Cruella video back in 2021. Since then, I've seen your channel grow. Like, you've took it upon yourself to get, have that confidence to reach out to Dave and to Open the Stars or, Jacob Martin, who you frequently collaborate with on his channel and on yours, Stephanie I Buy the Popcorn. You've took that all on your own. We spoke with Cruella, and maybe give maybe a couple of tips, but besides that, you've took your own steps to develop your channel. You invested in a green screen in which you do your videos in front of, that as far as I'm aware. And some of your videos recently have been really popping off and doing great viewership, and I'm proud of you. Yeah.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity for even being here, and that's what I just really like. I've always wanted you to be like, you were actually the first interview I intended to be, but then you were busy, so then I got like Jacob and Steph, and and I'm gonna get there's other people I'm gonna reach out to soon and start getting interviews with. But I really wanted to interview you because I was like, you basically led me on this path, and so I'm like, I always thought like I wanted to say thank you. This was something I just want to say thank you on, and that's
You're welcome,
really what it is. I thank you for being on the channel. I know you're busy. I know you got to still get to your live stream in an hour, so I'm going to let you go. But I just want to say thank you so much for being on here, and thank you for having your time. Thank you for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. It's been a blast, and thank you to everyone who's been watching and commented along as well. That's awesome. And if you're coming across Jake's channel for the first time via this interview or via one of his reviews, go subscribe to the guy. Let's get him to 100 subscribers, or at least 500 by the end of the year. Definitely deserves it.
I put the link to his channel in the description below. So go check him out. He is a great YouTuber, fantastic guy. Just check out. He says, "Did you see that?" Okay. Which, by the way, you better be saying that in your videos. Did you see that?
So this is the thing, right? So anyone watching, by the way, just a quick plug here, is if anyone ever says my channel name, right? So see if I do a collaboration with Jacob, Dave, Jason, whoever, I want them to really emphasize my name when they introduce it, because it is that moment, like you said, Jake, did you see that? I
must ask you, did you see that?
Did you? I guess I did. Yeah, man. Yeah, I love it. It's good fun. I miss my old name sometimes, YouTube name, but legal reasons I had to kind of change it, really. So
I actually now officially have this title, 3D Movie Cinema, because originally no one else has the title 3D Movie Cinema. And originally they tried to give me a number, but I'm like, I own this original. I said there is no one else that has this same title. Right. So I'm like, I have sole ownership over that. So I'm like, so that's why I'm like so glad, because I see other people with numbers. So I'm like, I don't have a number, so I'm happy. I don't have a number. Much I appreciate it. I'm gonna let you go, man, but I appreciate having you. Thank you so much, man. Subscribe to this channel. Did you see that? Okay. If you haven't seen it, subscribe to it. All right. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
Take care, guys.
Take care, guys.